Hi, my name is Kelly French. I'm with Brannan Sand and Gravel. I am a project manager at Brannan Sand and Gravel, which means that during the winters I estimate projects, which means that I do all of the bidding, and then during the summers I come out and I help run the job sites on a day-to-day basis, scheduling crews, making sure that everything's going the way that it should be, making sure that everybody's doing the work that they should be doing in the sequence in which they should be doing it. My focus at Brannan is the CDOT projects, so that's the Colorado Department of Transportation. They do all of our major highways and even a lot of our arterial streets. So during the winters, I bid to win the projects that we're going to build during the summer. One of them that we're at right now is Leetsdale Drive. Right now we're at Leetsdale and Alameda, and during the winter, last winter, I put the estimate together to bid this project, and then now this summer we are just wrapping up, finishing up this 2.5 mile long stretch. It's about a $4.5 million project. So as part of this Leetsdale Drive project, the first thing that we did was we went out and removed and replaced all of the existing curb ramps. So those are where you enter the road from the sidewalks. So you can see here, this is one that we replaced earlier this summer, as well as this median here. So everything that we do has to be brought up to the newest ADA standards, which is the American with Disabilities Act. That's so that anybody that's walking along this can tell that they're going to be walking into a roadway and they're not gonna fall down the road because it's so steep. So a lot of what we're doing out here is actually leveling these curb ramps so that they're less steep, so that when you're entering the roadway, if you're in a wheelchair or something, you're not just gonna roll out into the street. So that was the first part of what we did. And then the second part of what we did was we milled and overlaid the entire roadway for 2.5 miles full width. So the existing road was really falling apart in a lot of areas. There was a lot of potholes and a lot of bumps, and it just was in really bad shape. So we came through and we took the top 2 inches of asphalt off with a mill, and then after we milled the road, you come back through and you repave it with a paver, and you put back 2 inches of new asphalt over the roadway. So one of the things that we're doing is, after you do the regular concrete, is then we come in and fill the holes in with colored concrete. So that's where you see all of these reds and brown colored concretes all over the area. So this was recently poured this morning, so it's really wet still, but when you touch it, it's brown, and the dye just gets everywhere. So it's a mess. So we try to make sure to keep it as clean as possible. The city and county of Denver and CDOT both have different specifications on what colors they want everything to be. It's more just to delineate whether or not it's a walking surface or not a walking surface. And then in the areas that it's not a walking surface, they do have that color contrast between the two, and then as well they just try to make it look nice. So we're trying to match in with everything else in the area to make sure that we don't have 10 different colored concretes out here. The way that they put this brick pattern on it is actually with these big rubber stamps that they just step on. So you'll see that it's like a 2 foot by 4 foot piece of stamp, and they just stick it right in the wet concrete before it sets up to get this pattern. So one of the things that happens after we pave is we have to put back the striping the same way that it was, because when you mill it and you repave it, you have a blank roadway. So one of the things that we do is we put the crosswalks and the stop bars back in with what's called a thermoplastic. Thermo meaning fire. So in order to get these to stick to the ground, you actually have to blow torch them to the ground. So one of the benefits of working in construction is when you get to a certain level, they give you things like a truck or and a company phone. So I don't pay for any of my gas. They gave me a brand new F-150 and I get to drive that around to all of my different job sites. It does involve a lot of driving, so it makes sense that they pay for all of that. I started out actually as an intern with Brannan back in 2015 between my junior and senior year of college. I graduated from CSU with a major in civil engineering. After I graduated with my degree in civil engineering, I started full-time with Brannan as a project engineer. When I started as a project engineer, I was put on a job site and I was completely in charge of that job site. I was a project engineer for about 3.5 years with Brannan, and then I was promoted to project manager at the beginning of last summer. So I work for a company called Brannan Sand and Gravel, but we are a part of Brannan Companies, which actually has 3 divisions. So I work for the asphalt division, which is by far our largest division. We have a bunch of asphalt plants across the metro area. We have 6 paving crews. Then one of our other divisions is Brannan Ready Mix. That's who you saw doing the concrete. So we are one of the major concrete suppliers in the Denver metro area. And then our 3rd division is our utilities division, and they do water line and sewer line installations. Brannan being mostly a paving contractor, we do a lot of work just where we do the paving, but then like this project for CDOT, we're actually what's known as the general contractor. So that means that we're in charge of the whole project. So as a female at Brannan, I am one of a few females that are actually in my role as more of a project manager. We do have several other females that are in more of the quality control department or in the office, but we do have some females that are out in the field. And Brannan has always been very supportive of transportation and construction girl. We're really interested in getting a lot more women into the workforce because there really is a huge opportunity. We have a huge shortage of workers as it is, and we think that valuing women in this field is going to be a great benefit to us because we know how smart girls are and we know how good of workers they are.